previous war video. Again, this is a mini call. Again, any specific content you'd like to see, feel free to reach out to me on Discord at Khaleesi in-game mini call. And I'm just going to kind of go in with some slightly more, I guess, advanced tactics for war. And just kind of going in with the way we are currently situated in our war kind of opponents. A lot of them are going to be these generic shield teams. Um, as we do get kind of further along, we will start running across, people that do have full teams. And at that point, things will get a little bit more strategic. But I would say for right now, your best bet is really just to go after these generic teams. And, really part of the, I would say maybe strategy behind that is really just not overextending your team. Um, so, I mean, you really shouldn't ever have to kind of overextend a roster to beat a team. Um, so just kind of going in, I am seeing, for the most part, some pretty good strategy that I really don't have too much to criticize on. Um, but, overall, you don't want to take in a team with unnecessary power. The exception to this one rule is going to be Lego Man. Pretty much any team he takes in is going to be overpowered. Um, but for our regular people that are still building up their rosters, when you're looking at some of my attacks, I mean, yes, this one right here was just slightly stronger than that one, but with these generic shield teams, you really don't need much. Pretty much, my general rule of thumb, if you double the generic shield team's power, that is more than enough to take care of them. So when you're fighting a generic shield team, I would say you should never go over 3,200 as far as the power. That way, you're just really making the most of your roster, and that will give you a couple additional attacks. As we start getting into more advanced wars, essentially with higher opponents, it is going to be a little bit more challenging. And part of the challenge of war is managing the resource of your own roster. And, typically you might get a solid 5 attacks before your good roster is all taken out. And then, you may only have like three kind of like semi scrappy teams left. So in later wars, it certainly is a combination of coordination, resource management. You know, when we start getting to the tougher opponents, you are going to see the ability to defensively boost certain rooms, and that's something we'll certainly start looking at. But at this point, we're doing really pretty solid. Where there is this giant gap. Um, Eventually, what we'll be starting to go through is we will be looking for rooms that have this global tag, and it's always best if the global rooms are all taken out first on the enemy's team. The reasoning behind this is a global room gives the entire enemy team a buff of some kind. So if you wipe out those global rooms first, it basically debuffs the enemy war team. And if we have more buffs, it kind of gives us a natural edge in the war. Um, so that's just kind of a slightly advanced, I guess, tutorial on this is just make sure you're not, you know, there's no need to super overpower an enemy, team. So again, just kind of, to reiterate, I can go in here with basically again a lower power level, but because two of my characters are literally double the shield teams, again, this team is going to handle them no problem. So really, just try to use your roster to the maximum that you can. This is going to help you get those 8 attacks in as we do start getting to the point where maybe you have an abundance of those blitz credits. You can start buying yourself war refreshes, What those war refreshes do is they give you the ability to attack again. So in theory, you can attack a maximum of 12 times in a war. However, this does take a lot of blitz credits. So if you are to do that, the first one costs 150 blitz credits, the next one costs 200, then 250, and then 300. So you would essentially need 900 of these war refreshes, and I want to say they are 375. I think 375 gets you 75 credits. So basically, you would have to buy that pack 12 times. Um, and, it gets a bit on the expensive side. So I would say, as you're farming characters, it's probably not the best thing to do. Because essentially, you would need at least 4,500 blitz credits to do a full 12 attack. Um, Again, this is kind of just future information, but eventually it will get to the point where we probably will need to be, at least some of us will need to be doing more than 8 attacks a war just to win. But anyway, so again, just to take away from this, some advanced strategy for the players with the more robust rosters and the stronger teams. You don't need to go in with a 40k collection powered team to beat a 17k generic shield team. So just try to use your roster smartly. If y'all have any questions about that, again, feel free to let us know. Always happy to answer questions, and if there's anything that you're still not understanding in the war, feel free to vocalize it, and we will try to get that explanation out to you either via in-game message or by a video, whatever is going to be easiest. Thank you again so much for watching, and again, good luck in the war, and have a good one.